Unrivaled is about to unravel. I would be very surprised that numbers for year 2 are comparable to numbers from year 1. They have less star power. WNBA fatigue is at an all-time high. There's no Caitlin Clark. There was pretty much no Caitlin Clark sophomore year in the WNBA.
Okay, buckle up for this, because what just went down is absolutely wild. Unrivaled, the league everyone was buzzing about, just lost its biggest superstars. And seriously, nobody is talking about the bombshell this drops on the WNBA's entire future. Look, when the 5 most influential names in women's basketball collectively say, "Nah, we're good to your league," that's not just some accidental scheduling hiccup. That, my friends, is a calculated, coordinated message. And by the time this video wraps up, you're gonna know exactly why this could be the most genius power play these players have ever pulled, or, believe it or not, the single biggest fumble that just handed all the power right back to the owners. Trust me, what's happening behind the scenes here goes way, way deeper than just a few players skipping a season.
The only person that casuals might know from 2019, 2020 in Sabrina Ionescu from last year isn't there this year. You have WNBA champion A'ja Wilson, she's not there. You have Sophie Cunningham, who has made a mark in the minds of fans across the country. She won't be participating in this.
So, you hear that? 5 monumental names. Just poof, gone. But here's the absolute kicker most people are completely missing. This isn't some polite request for rest, or a smart move for injury prevention. No. Think about the timing. Seriously. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement negotiations are happening right now. The Players Association is desperate for leverage, trying to show these owners they've got other plays, that they're not tethered to the WNBA. And what's the ultimate nuclear bomb they could drop? A legitimate rival league, one that actually works, that pays better, treats players like gold, and can thrive without the WNBA's money or infrastructure. That's the ultimate trump card, right? The one you play to force owners to take your demands seriously. Except there's one huge, glaring crack in that master plan.
This takes a lot of leverage out of Unrivaled's hand when it comes to negotiating for the new CBA. By Unrivaled's hand, I mean out of the Players Association's hand. If Unrivaled actually was able to draw top players, draw the top billers, bring a decent rating night in and night out to their games, have good engagement, sell merch, so on and so forth, money talks bullshit.
And that, right there, is where everything starts to unravel. Did you catch what he just said? Money talks, BS walks? Think about it. If Unrivaled can't pull in the absolute biggest stars, if it bombs in the ratings, if the players everyone actually tunes in to watch aren't on the court, what kind of leverage does the Players Association honestly have? Put yourself in the owner's shoes for a second. You're sitting across the table from the Players Union, and they're hitting you with demands for insane salaries, VIP treatment, private jets, the whole 9 yards. And their big threat, give us what we want, or we'll just go play in Unrivaled. But here's the cold, hard truth. You, as an owner, know Caitlin Clark isn't showing up. You know Angel Reese opted out. You know A'ja Wilson wants absolutely nothing to do with it. So, threatened? Nah. You'd probably just chuckle and call their bluff.
People really care about if they're not playing it Unrivaled, then the owners still have no reason to fear Unrivaled. I'd argue that players sitting out from Unrivaled helps out the WNBA far more than it helps out Unrivaled. Imagine being Unrivaled, Nafisa Collier, Breanna Stewart. Imagine being part of the Players Association, the president, Nneka Ogwumike, and going to negotiations, going to the table saying, look, we have all the top superstars in our league still.
Okay, seriously, did you hear those names he just rattled off? Dana Evans, Cameron Brink, Dereka Hamby. Look, these are absolutely solid players, no disrespect intended. But let's be real, they aren't the generational talents, the needle movers that casual fans actually switch on their TVs to watch. And that's the brutal, unspoken truth that's about to torpedo Unrivaled's entire negotiating power. Because here's the real tea. There's a huge, deep-seated rift brewing inside the Players Association that literally no one wants to admit publicly. On one side, you've got players like Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, who are genuinely, financially invested in Unrivaled. They own parts of this league, so they need it to blow up, because their money is on the line. But then, on the other side, you have the Caitlin Clarks, the Aja Wilsons, who are secretly thinking, hold up, why am I helping you build your personal business empire while potentially torching the very league I've dreamed of playing in since I was a kid?
Which goes with the theme, no handouts. We're not giving you our name, image, and likeness, for lack of a better term, so you can use our handouts to bargain, to go against the league that we've dreamed to play for. We're not giving you the ammo that you need to go potentially shut down the WNBA, to potentially go and argue and use Unrivaled as your own bargaining chip in a selfish manner, because that's what they're doing, hence conflict of interest.
Okay, time to hit pause for a second, because what he just laid out, that's the raw, unvarnished psychology driving this whole explosive situation. No handouts. Think about the weight of that phrase. For the past year, Caitlin Clark has watched everyone and their mother use her name, her brand, her seismic impact to launch their own platforms, their own leagues. Remember how Angel Reese became the unofficial face of Unrivaled's inaugural season? Yeah, largely thanks to that Cedric Caitlin Clark rivalry narrative, the entire WNBA, honestly, got a massive shot in the arm just by association with the Clark effect. And now, some are expecting these very stars to leverage their unique star power as a bargaining chip against the WNBA, against the league these players genuinely aspire to play in long term. That, my friends, is where the conflict of interest isn't just clear, it's screamed. Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart aren't just members of the Players Association. They are literal business owners trying to build a rival empire, while simultaneously negotiating for the very WNBA players they're trying to compete with. You cannot, I repeat, cannot serve two masters. And the league's top talents, they just saw the light.
Rival to exist, that's a clear conflict of interest. Aja Wilson, she's not letting that happen. Both years, she's not letting that happen. Caitlin Clark, not letting that happen. They've had enough time using Caitlin Clark's juice, using Caitlin Clark's clout to demand and ask. Angel Reese, it's not happening this year. Sophie, no. Sabrina, no, not happening this year.
Both years. Did you even catch that? Aja Wilson, one of the WNBA's absolute titans, sat out both years. This isn't some random fluke. This is a clear, undeniable pattern. This is a powerful statement. And here's where it gets even more mind-bending. These players are far from stupid. They are masters of leverage, experts in negotiating tactics. So tell me, why on earth would they willingly toss away the one card that could actually force the WNBA to open its wallet and pay them exponentially more? Unless they don't see Unrivaled as leverage at all, unless they see it as a full-blown trap. Seriously, consider it from their vantage point. If Unrivaled somehow exploded and became a genuine threat to the WNBA, what's the outcome? Best case, the WNBA gets forced to compete for talent, driving up salaries. But the terrifying worst case, the WNBA just shrugs and says, "Oh, you want to play hardball? Fine, we'll just lock you out. Go have fun in your little startup league." And suddenly, instead of one thriving league, you've got two floundering messes.
And he mentioned, well, with all of the shady business that's now coming out around the NBA, who's to say that Adam Silver didn't talk to some of these players behind the closed doors and say, here's a few $100,000, don't play in this shit. We don't need to give them any more leverage. Here's a few $100,000, we'll take care of it, don't worry about it, you don't need this. We can't have your stardom being lent out to all these different places, Unrivaled being one of them, Athletes Unlimited being one of them. We can't have that. You'll play in the WNBA, you'll do the USA basketball stuff.
Now this, my friends, is where the story takes an absolutely insane left turn and gets utterly wild. So, check this out. There's a truly wild theory bubbling up that Adam Silver, the all-powerful NBA commissioner himself, might have secretly paid some of these top players to not play in Unrivaled. We're talking behind closed doors, straight up checks, basically saying, here's a cool few $100,000, just don't give that rival league any ammunition against us in negotiations. And before you immediately dismiss this as some tinfoil hat conspiracy, just think about all the other bonkers stuff that's been exposed in the NBA lately. The whole Luka Doncic mess, the Terry Rozier gambling scandal that the NBA somehow missed, but the FBI conveniently caught, the Kawhi Leonard payment allegations. The NBA has been caught with its hand in the cookie jar multiple times recently. So is it really that crazy to think Adam Silver would deploy a few strategic, hush-hush payments to absolutely nuke Unrivaled's negotiating power? Because here's the bottom line. The NBA is deeply financially invested in the WNBA. They bankroll it, they prop it up. They need it to flourish on their terms, not on the terms dictated by some upstart league spearheaded by its own players.
Allegedly, possibly, push the Mavericks in a direction to get rid of Luka Doncic to a main attraction organization like the Los Angeles Lakers, and then just by chance they land on the #1 pick in Cooper Flagg. This is the commissioner of a league who got reports of Terry Rozier and analyzed the reports and did their own investigation, only to say, oh yeah, nothing's wrong here, but Terry, you're gonna have to sit the rest of this current season. Only for the FBI to swoop in and say, have you guys been falling asleep at the wheel? What kind of investigation did you guys do?
This whole shady business angle is, believe it or not, absolutely critical to truly grasping the entire scope of this situation. Because at its core, what we're really debating here is control. Who ultimately calls the shots in women's basketball? Is it the WNBA? Is it the individual players? Is it the Players Association as a whole? Or is it simply a tight-knit group of entrepreneurial players dreaming of building their own personal empire? And here's where the psychological chess match gets utterly fascinating. If you're someone like Caitlin Clark or Aja Wilson, players already drowning in endorsement deals with rock-solid positions as undisputed franchise cornerstones, you frankly don't need Unrivaled. You're not starving for a few extra bucks. But when you're the Players Association, fighting tooth and nail for better conditions and higher pay for everyone, then you absolutely 100% need leverage. You need that terrifying boogeyman to scare the owners with. And Unrivaled was designed to be that very threat. Except, the only players who could actually make it threatening just gave a collective shrug and said, nah, we're good.
This is a big blow when it comes to the negotiations. Yeah, Unrivaled is gonna be bad anyway, right? It's gonna be bad. We know it's gonna be bad. But thinking a step further, well, this really sets them back when it comes to CBA negotiations.
And that, right there, is the actual undeniable breaking point. This is the precise moment where Unrivaled's entire grand negotiating strategy just collapses into dust. Because seriously, picture what just happened. The Players Association strides into CBA negotiations, all ready to play hardball, basically declaring, meet our demands, or guess what? We've got other options. But the owners, they can literally just gesture at Unrivaled's current roster and calmly reply, okay, great, go ahead and take those other options. Because your top 5 players aren't even showing up to that league. Your most marketable stars want absolutely nothing to do with it. So, what exactly are you threatening us with? It's a bluff that just got brutally, publicly called out for the whole world to see. And here's the truly devastating part. This isn't some whispered secret. Everyone can see exactly who's playing in Unrivaled and who's conspicuously absent. The owners aren't guessing. They have cold, hard, undeniable proof that the players aren't united behind this whole alternative league gambit.
Was supposed to be a league where only the best talent played, and season 2 has been nothing but a bunch of subpar role players. This is like a G League. This is like a G League, summer league type of feel, type of environment. There's no star power, there's no pizzazz. There's nothing that makes you really perk up, stand up, get ready to go. And the problem that Unrivaled has...
And trust me, you need to hear what actual WNBA fans are saying right now. These aren't just random haters, these are die-hard supporters who desperately want women's basketball to thrive. But they're genuinely ticked off because they were promised only the best talent, and instead, what they're seeing feels more like a summer league, a G League, if we're being brutally honest. And that perception nightmare? That is an absolute death sentence for Unrivaled's credibility. Because once your elite league gets branded as a G League by its own potential audience, once they start openly mocking the talent level, you've lost the narrative war entirely. There's no coming back from that. You can't possibly convince owners you're a legitimate threat when your own fan base is mercilessly roasting you online. But here's the truly fascinating twist. The exact moment fans started turning their backs. It wasn't immediate. Unrivaled's first season actually generated some serious buzz, largely fueled by Angel Reese and that initial curiosity. But now, second season, the shiny novelty has completely worn off, the star power has evaporated, and people are finally seeing it for what it truly is, a well-funded experiment that the top-tier players simply aren't buying into.
Unrivaled is rolling now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate the support. No handouts, says Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Sophie Cunningham, Sabrina Ionescu. You will not use us as pawns in your negotiations with the league. What do you think about that?
Okay, let's connect every single one of these chaotic dots, because this is where the entire terrifying picture finally snaps into crystal clear focus. You've got a players' association desperately scrambling for leverage. You've got a subset of players who literally own a rival league and absolutely need it to mint money. Then, you've got other, bigger players who are flat out refusing to join because they see the glaring conflict of interest. Add to that, owners who now possess undeniable proof that this supposed threat is nothing but smoke and mirrors. Then, throw in a fan base utterly disillusioned with the product they were promised. And all of this, by the way, is unfolding smack dab in the middle of crucial CBA negotiations. So, what does that monstrous equation equal? A catastrophic, total collapse of the players' association's entire bargaining strategy. Because here's the brutal, gut-punch truth. The owners are going to gaze at this mess and realize they suddenly wield all the power. They can lowball offers, knowing full well that this alternative league isn't even a viable option for the stars. They can drag out negotiations for months, knowing that players absolutely need the WNBA more than the WNBA needs any single player. And they can and will call the Players Association's bluff on literally every single demand, because that bluff just got publicly, spectacularly exposed.
Appreciate the support. No handouts, says Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Sophie Cunningham, Sabrina Ionescu. You will not use us as pawns in your negotiations with the league. What do you think about that?
That phrase, no handouts, is not just a catchy soundbite, it's going to become the defining mantra of this entire tumultuous era of WNBA labor relations. Because what Caitlin Clark, Aja Wilson, and the other elite stars are actually saying loud and clear is this: you absolutely do not get to use our names, our hard-earned brands, our undeniable star power as weapons in a fight we never agreed to join. And honestly, that's not just a reasonable stance, it's bulletproof. Put yourself in their shoes for a second. You've poured years into meticulously crafting your brand, grinding through college, becoming a household name, a cultural phenomenon, and then a few players you barely know decide to launch a rival league, expecting you to jeopardize your WNBA career, risk your standing with the very league you've dreamt of playing in since childhood, all just to hand them leverage in negotiations that primarily serve their own business interests. That's not solidarity, folks. That's pure, unadulterated exploitation. And the league's top talents just drew an unshakable line in the sand. The burning question now is what the heck happens next? Does the Players Association have any shred of leverage left? Can they somehow still carve out a decent CBA without the unrivaled threat looming? Or did they just spectacularly burn their only viable card? So, what's your take? What do you honestly think goes down when the WNBA owners wake up and realize they're holding all the cards, every single one of them? Seriously, hit that comment section below with your predictions, because I have a feeling this CBA negotiation is about to get incredibly, unbelievably messy.